It was a busy Tuesday morning in downtown Chicago. The city streets buzzed with cars honking, business people rushing to meetings, and street vendors calling out their deals. But in the middle of all this chaos, something caught the eye of one man, something that would change his entire day. A small child sat on the sidewalk, tears streaming down her cheeks, clutching a crumpled paper bag. She looked lost, scared, and utterly alone. People hurried past her without a second glance. Some gave a sympathetic nod, while others pretended not to see at all. But one man stopped. That man was the CEO of a major tech company, known for his sharp mind and even sharper business decisions. His name was Jonathan Reed. He was used to making tough calls in boardrooms, negotiating million-dollar deals, and commanding attention wherever he went. Yet, nothing in his life had prepared him for this moment on the crowded sidewalk. Before we dive deeper, if you love stories that touch the heart and remind us of the good in the world, make sure to subscribe to Kindness Story Hub, hit that like button, and comment below with your favorite part of this story. Every click helps us bring more uplifting stories to your feed. Jonathan crouched down beside the little girl, gently asking if she was okay. Her tiny voice shook as she explained that she had lost her mother while waiting outside a cafe and couldn't find her. Her mother had gone inside to buy a coffee, and somehow, in the busy street, she had wandered off. Jonathan's heart sank. The child was scared, alone, and vulnerable, and no one else seemed to notice that he could have done what most people would do. He could have called the police, waited for help, or even continued on his way. After all, he had meetings to attend and calls to make. But something inside him refused to let her cry go unanswered. Something simple, human, and profoundly compassionate. "Don't worry, sweetie," Jonathan said softly. "We'll find your mom." The girl's tear-streaked face lit up with a tiny flicker of hope. She clutched his hand as he led her into the nearby cafe. Jonathan asked the staff if anyone had seen a woman looking for a child. The cafe employees shook their heads, busy with the morning rush. Jonathan then pulled out his phone and tried calling the number on the little girl's backpack tag. No answer. Time was passing, and the little girl's anxiety grew. She hid her face in Jonathan's suit, sobbing quietly. People in the cafe stared. Some recognized Jonathan as a prominent figure in the tech world. Whispers spread around the room. "That's Jonathan Reed, the CEO of Reed Tech? Why is he sitting there with a crying child?" Some expected him to hand the girl over to someone else, or just wait for help while maintaining a polite distance. But Jonathan didn't. He stayed. He comforted her. He spoke in a calm voice, told her jokes, and even drew silly faces on a napkin to make her laugh. Slowly, the fear in her eyes began to fade. Minutes turned into half an hour. Jonathan made several phone calls, but there was still no word from her mother. The cafe was starting to fill with the morning crowd, and the child was now smiling faintly, leaning against him. He noticed people recording on their phones, snapping pictures. Some were impressed. Others were skeptical. Isn't he busy? Shouldn't he be in his office? But Jonathan didn't care. He had made a choice to be present for a child in need, and that was all that mattered. Finally, a woman rushed into the cafe, panic written all over her face. "Emily! Oh my God, Emily," she cried. The little girl ran into her mother's arms, tears now of relief and joy. The mother turned toward Jonathan, her eyes wide. "I don't even know how to thank you," she said, her voice trembling. Jonathan simply smiled. "Just make sure she stays close," he said, his own voice warm. And with that, he left the cafe, his heart quietly full. What struck people who heard about this story wasn't that a CEO helped a child. That could happen. What shocked them was how he did it without hesitation, without thinking about status or time, without worrying about what others might say. He simply acted out of kindness. And that act rippled far beyond that morning in Chicago. Word of Jonathan's gesture spread quickly, especially after someone in the cafe posted about it online. People were moved, inspired, and even challenged to think about their own choices in moments when someone needs help. Comments poured in: "If a busy CEO can stop for a child, maybe I can help too." This restored my faith in humanity. Kindness doesn't cost a thing, yet it can change everything. But what happened next was unexpected. Jonathan's employees, who had been watching the news coverage, started noticing small changes in the workplace culture. One by one, they began sharing stories of kindness, helping a coworker, volunteering, donating anonymously, or simply offering a smile to someone struggling. It was as if his one act of compassion had unlocked something inside everyone around him. Jonathan himself didn't do it for recognition. In fact, he rarely spoke about it publicly. For him, the reward was seeing the little girl reunited with her mother, safe and happy. And yet, the impact was undeniable. He reminded everyone that true leadership isn't just about profits, stock prices, or business strategies. Leadership is about empathy. Leadership is about noticing the world around you and choosing to make it better, one small act at a time. Think about it for a moment. In a world where most of us are rushing, distracted, and focused on our own lives, stopping to help someone can feel inconvenient. But what if that pause, that small act, could change a life? Jonathan didn't just comfort a crying child, he sent a message to the world: kindness matters, and it can start with anyone, at any moment. The story also teaches us something personal. How often do we walk past someone in need, assuming someone else will step in? How often do we focus on our schedule, our responsibilities, our important tasks, and forget the power of a simple gesture? A smile, a hand, a few words of reassurance, they cost nothing but can create ripples that last a lifetime. After that morning, Jonathan made it a habit to notice the small things. He started greeting employees personally, checking in with street vendors near his office, and mentoring young leaders in his company to prioritize humanity over titles. It wasn't about being famous or making headlines, it was about living a life that truly mattered. And the little girl? Emily never forgot the man who stopped for her that morning. Years later, she would tell her story in school presentations, charity events, and even online videos, always emphasizing one simple truth: kindness changes everything. She grew up carrying that lesson with her, spreading it in her own small ways, reminding us all that one act of compassion can echo through countless lives. Jonathan's story is more than just a heartwarming tale. It's a reminder that every day presents opportunities to make a difference. We might think we're too busy, too important, or too tired to help. But the truth is, helping someone in need doesn't require a title, a bank account, or special skills. It requires awareness, empathy, and courage, the courage to care when it's easier to walk away. So the next time you see someone struggling, remember Jonathan and Emily. Remember that a single moment, a single decision, can change the course of a life. Whether it's comforting a crying child, listening to a friend, helping a neighbor, or simply offering a smile, your action can have a ripple effect far beyond what you imagine. Imagine a world where we all took just a few moments each day to notice, to care, and to act with kindness. How different would our cities, our workplaces, and our communities be? Jonathan's story reminds us that it starts with one person, one choice, one heartbeat of compassion at a time, and perhaps, most importantly, it reminds us that true power isn't measured in wealth, influence, or accolades. True power is measured in how much love and kindness we bring into the lives of others. So today, as you go about your life, look for the little chances to make a difference. Hold a door, share a kind word, or offer help without expecting anything in return. You might be surprised how far your small act can travel and how deeply it can touch someone's heart. In the end, that's the legacy Jonathan left, not as a CEO who built a company, but as a man who paused in a busy world to show that compassion is stronger than status, louder than wealth, and more lasting than fame. The world can always use more kindness. And it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, a student, a parent, or a retiree. Every act matters. Every decision matters. And every moment is an opportunity to show that, even in a world full of rushing and noise, humanity still shines through. So, let this story inspire you. Be the person who stops. Be the person who cares. Be the person whose action, no matter how small, sends a ripple of hope into the world. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person deciding to act with kindness to change lives forever.